Welcome back to Study More Hygiene. In today's video, we'll be working on dentition charting. The important thing for dentition charting is to have quality x-rays and looking at a patient's EOI or intraoral, extraoral exam so we can tell what's going on in their mouth. So combining the two, we can dentition chart that into our computer. For today's activity, we'll be using EagleSoft to do the charting. So when dentition charting, the first thing that I'm noticing here is that this patient is missing some teeth. So we're missing some third molars and we're missing a premolar here. So that'll be the first thing we're going to chart. And again, you can see that based off the EOIO alone. So now we'll select that first premolar that's missing. We'll go over to our counter. We'll say it's a missing tooth. It's existing. So now it won't take it away right away. You have to go down to the bottom bar here, right click, and then show on chart. So now that tooth is marked as missing. Going back to our model, again, we charted all those missing teeth. The next thing we're seeing is this is a normal tooth. This is a normal molar here, second molar. There's nothing on the x-ray. Now this tooth here, we have something. This first molar, number 3, we can see on the x-ray that there's a crown on this guy, porcelain fused to metal crown. And that can be seen on the EOIO as well. So we will chart this porcelain fused to metal crown next. So now that we took a look at the EOIO of that tooth, we looked at the x-ray, we know that it's a porcelain fused to metal crown on tooth number 3. So we're going to go to tooth number 3, select it. We're going to go over to crown. We'll say PFM or porcelain fused to metal. We'll click on it. We'll add the tooth number, number 3. This is existing. We'll click OK. Again, we'll go to the tooth. We'll right click on our sheet and we'll say show on chart. And then bang, there you go. Our porcelain fused to metal crown is on the dentition chart. So going back to our model, so we dentition charted this porcelain fused to metal crown. Now we're looking at this premolar here. So let's zoom in. We can see that there is a composite in there. And again, this is going the occlusal towards the distal, so it would be a DO composite. And we'll zoom out. We'll look back at our x-ray. And again, we can see here that composite. So again, we'll chart that. So we'll go to tooth number 4. We will chart it as a posterior composite. It was a 2 surface, so it was on the distal and the occlusal. We can go here, we can do a detailed surface or we can do a summary surface. So I'll keep it simple. We'll do a distal and an occlusal on tooth number 4 that's existing. We'll click OK. And again, we will show it on the chart. So we have our distal occlusal composite listed here. Again, going back to the EOIO of the model here, we can see that there is a lingual composite. And using the x-ray, we can also see that it goes all the way up. It's actually a root canal. So that would be the next thing. Using our EOIO and our x-ray, we can tell that there's a root canal and then there's a lingual composite. So we'll go ahead and chart that next on the dentition chart. So going to tooth number 8, let's add that composite first. So we have an anterior composite, a single surface, and we'll say it's right on the lingual. So it's on tooth number 8, it's existing. We'll get that placed. We'll show it on our chart. Got our lingual composite here. Now let's add that root canal. We'll go to RCT. It's an anterior root canal or RCT. It was existing, tooth number 8. Again, it's important to decide it's a single rooted tooth. We'll click OK. And we'll make this show on the chart. So now we added our root canal here. Going back to our model, we can see here we have another crown placed on this tooth, and we can again see it on the x-ray. And this isn't a porcelain fused to metal. This looks like a ceramic crown due to the lack of, or not being as white or radiolucent as it was over here. So that's what making me think it's a porcelain, or not a porcelain fused to metal, but a ceramic crown. So we'll go ahead and chart that next on our chart. So that was tooth number 10. So we'll select it. We'll say it was a crown. We'll go down to crown. And we said it was a ceramic crown. So we'll select that ceramic crown. It's existing. Tooth number 10. We'll click OK. And then we will show on the chart. So now we have that ceramic crown. You can see it's a little bit different in color from our porcelain fused to metal compared to this one. Looking at the model once again, tooth number 11 looks good. Tooth number 12 looks like we have another crown there. So that's a porcelain fused to metal crown again. How do I know that? We can see here the radiolucency, or radio opaqueness, excuse me, of that tooth. So we'll chart that as a porcelain fused to metal crown on tooth number 12. So let's select tooth number 12. Another crown here. We'll go PFM crown, porcelain fused to metal. Tooth number 12 is selected. It's existing. We'll click OK and we'll make it show on the chart. So again, we charted tooth number 12, that porcelain fused to metal crown. Looking at tooth number 13, let's zoom in on it. Looking at tooth number 13 from our x-ray, we can see another filling here that goes from the occlusal, or from the mesial occlusal towards the distal. So an MOD filling is on tooth number 13. So we'll chart that next. So we will select tooth number 13. We'll do a posterior composite. That'd be a 3 surface. And we said mesial occlusal distal. Tooth number 13, it's existing. We'll click OK, and we'll show it on the chart. And there we have it. We have our MOD composite. Final thing from our x-rays that we can see is a radio opaqueness on this first molar. And again, we'll go in here. We can see here on the occlusal surface, just the occlusal, we have an amalgam composite. So again, we'll go ahead and chart that in our dentition chart. We'll go to tooth number 14. We will select amalgam. We'll select a single surface. It's existing. We'll say it's the occlusal. We'll say OK, and we'll show it on the chart. So that's our full dentition chart for this model. We'll go ahead and do a second model to chart some other So here's our next model. And we're going to go ahead and chart a mandibular model. So we'll chart those missing teeth first. And based off of our x-ray here, we can see a composite that we'll chart, an occlusal composite. We can see a crown with a root canal. Based off the EOIO, we can see that it's actually a golden crown with the root canal going through the roots. In our next x-ray, we can see these are a type of composite that shows up on teeth that shows up radiolucent or dark. And then we can go onto our model and we can feel those spots actually. So we'll chart those, and those are mesial and distals across. And we can see a root canal in one of the lower anteriors. Going to the other side, we can see some amalgams going across. So we have an amalgam going from all the way across the occlusal, or from the mesial occlusal towards the distal. So we'll get that all charted next. So let's chart all that information. So the first thing we saw were those missing teeth. We can just hide that one, hide that one. And the first thing we saw was that composite. So we'll get that composite on the last molar there. we'll do a single surface because it was an occlusal composite that's existing. We'll show that on the chart. Number 30 had a root canal and it was on a molar. So it's existing, and we're going to select both of the roots. We'll click OK. We'll make that shown on the chart, and let's add a gold crown to that. So we're going to go to crown. It was a full gold crown. Existing. We'll say that. We'll make it show on the chart. There's our gold crown with root canal. Now these lower anteriors from 26, 25, 24, and 23 had mesial and distal composites. So on 24, or on 26, excuse me, we'll start with the anterior composite. We'll do a two surface, mesial and distal. We'll do 25 the same, mesial, distal, 24, mesial and distal, and 23, mesial and distal. And then we'll go ahead and show this on the chart. And finally, we had an amalgam composite on that first molar on the other side. So we'll select the amalgam composite. Single surface, it's an occlusal. And we'll show that on our dentition chart. So using your model or your patient looking inside, using your radiographs, you can better dentition chart what your patient has existing. And this would be something we use for new patients to get an idea of where they're at, where they're starting. Thank you.